Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like you to join me as I go back in time. Back to a time filled with hours upon hours of exciting play. Sitting on the floor, creating dream worlds, fascinating careers, and exotic vacations. With the one, the only, Barbie. And of course. Now those were the days. Not a worry in the world and nothing but bright times ahead. But what if that fantasy play was actually changing the way you felt about yourself? Distorting your body image and lowering your self-esteem. All things that contribute to eating disorders. Eating disorders are an issue close to my heart, as I suffered from one for about 4 years, from 6th to 10th grade. And the results of my questionnaire showed that 50% of this class knows someone who has or has had an eating disorder. This being said, I believe it is important to talk tonight about why eating disorders are considered an epidemic, how influences such as Barbie, the media, and the fashion industry have contributed to a recent rise in eating disorders, and finally talk about some of the things that can be done to change body image in today's world. Let's start off by discovering why eating disorders are an epidemic. Many experts, and 100% of those who took my survey, agree that eating disorders are at least somewhat of an epidemic. According to the National Eating Disorders Association, anorexia and bulimia affect over 11 million individuals every year, and millions more suffer from binge eating disorders and eating disorders not otherwise specified. Couple that with the fact that the 2003 Review of the Prevalence and Incidence of Eating Disorders found that there has been a rise in eating disorders every decade since 1930, and I think we have ourselves an epidemic. But it's important to figure out how this once rare and unknown disorder has become such a deadly and self-destructive disease. To do this, we must start by examining the influence that Barbie has on body image issues that are contributing to an increase in eating disorders in young children. In a study published in the International Journal of Eating Disorders, researchers found that 42% of 1st through 3rd graders already wanted to be thinner. And in her book, Barbie Culture, Mary Rogers noted that 99% of the 3 to 10-year-old girls in the United States own at least one Barbie doll. So is it any coincidence that Barbie's main audiences are some of the first to show dissatisfaction with their bodies at increasingly younger ages? The American Psychological Association's article, Does Barbie Make Girls Want to Be Thin?, doesn't think so. It emphasizes that Barbie serves as a role model for young children, and her qualities, body type included, are internalized by her owners and considered necessary for success and acceptance. But what these kids don't realize at such a young age is that Barbie's shape is both unattainable and unhealthy. In fact, in a study done by Yale and Duke University, for the average woman to look like Barbie, she would have to add 24 inches to her height, 5 inches to her bust, 3.2 inches to her neck, and subtract 6 inches from her waist, leaving her look somewhat like that. So while I agree with Judy Duffy of the Scotland Herald that there is far more to shaping a child's view of the world than a few years playing with an ultra-glamorous Barbie, I definitely feel that it has an impact. One study done by the American Psychological Association, however, showed that the effect of the doll on body image dwindles with age. Through body image questionnaires, researchers identified that once girls got to be about 8 years old, their negative self-esteem was due more to socio-cultural experience than anything else. Which brings me to my next point. How do media and fashion influence body image in such a way that contributes to eating disorders? Nowadays, it seems impossible to watch a TV show or wait in line at the supermarket without seeing at least one airbrushed body or criticism for some celebrity's weight gain. And in my opinion, the media and fashion industry are really one and the same. The models used on the runway are now the inspiration for the lead actors and actresses in movies, spokespeople for new products, and of course, the focal point of just about every magazine cover. Christy Greenleaf, a professor at the University of North Texas, says in our society, we are socialized to value physical appearance and ultra-thin beauty. And research demonstrates that poor body image and disordered eating are associated with internalizing the airbrushed bodies that dominate the fashion industry. While she and 80% of this class, including myself, agree that media and fashion promote eating disorders, there are many people who bring opposing arguments to the table. For example, Fred Schwarz of the National Review states that anorexia is not an artifact of our modern, weight-obsessed society, but instead has physical and biological roots. Indeed, many studies have proven that eating disorders are a mental illness, and I can tell you from experience that fighting one involves a whole lot more than just avoiding the media. But I also know that constant exposure to and praise for stick-thin bodies only makes things worse. So although the fashion industry is not the sole cause of eating disorders, psychological researchers of Janet Treasures, Elizabeth Wack, and Marion Roberts agree with me that it is a huge contributor. In their article published on Opposing Viewpoints, they stated that fashion's demand for extreme thinness encourages unhealthy eating behaviors, and beyond the catwalk, its thinning ideal has led to a rise in eating disorders in the general public. So now that we've seen some of the effects that Barbie, media, and the fashion industry have on body image, it's time to see what can be done to improve body image today. One step in the right direction was reported in a 2005 USA Today article that celebrated the launch of Bath & Body Works' American Girl, Real Beauty Inside and Outline, which featured positive self-talk and inspirational messages on every product. The same source recognized that Dove has also been working to promote self-esteem by using photos of real-life women who are not airbrushed or photoshopped to show girls that real can still be beautiful. And according to an ABC News article, the Kite Sisters of Utah, with PhDs in communication, created a billboard campaign to help promote positive body image. Their billboards boast messages such as, your reflection doesn't define your worth, and there's more to be than eye candy. Personally, I think that if more people work to create positive media like that, our self-esteem and eating disorder epidemic could turn around. The truth of the matter is, however, ultra-thin models will never disappear. So what can you do in your everyday life to help promote healthy body image? The National Eating Disorders Association provides a few tips. First, remember that true beauty is a state of mind, not a state of body. Also, surround yourself with people who care about you and value who you are, and try to be critical of media that makes you feel bad about yourself. Protest it by writing to the advertiser or boycotting the product promoted. And finally, instead of worrying about your looks, use your energy to do something fun or help someone else, because it is in those moments that you will appreciate everything you are and everything you can become. Tonight, I have shared with you lots of information, so I would like to conclude by summarizing the main message of my speech. Eating disorders are a serious problem that stem from an individual's dissatisfaction with their body and low self-esteem, both of which are encouraged by childhood toys such as Barbie and by the influence that media and the fashion industry have on everyday life. There is, however, a solution, and some major companies have already taken the initiative by encouraging real beauty campaigns to show women that beauty comes in all shapes and sizes. But don't forget that there are always things you can do too. When I was in treatment, myself and 3 other girls made this poster. And every time I look at it, I have it hanging in my room, I remember that everyone is beautiful in their own way. And I want each and every one of you tonight to know that you too have beautiful wings. So spread them and fly.